All right, Nick, let's talk about the Alabama Crimson Tide. I think the big question everyone has here is what is going on with the quarterback position? There's a couple guys in here. We got the young guys, we've got the transfer guys, we got the guys that have been on this roster as well. Who's showing up? Who is making noise already in spring practice? Everybody wants to know, and we have the update for you here. I think it's going to be a really good one as well, so stay tuned for that. But before we dive in, I'm Andrew. That's Nick, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, Nick, without further ado, let's get on into it and give everybody what they want, the updates on the quarterback battle in Alabama spring practice. This, of course, is from over on AL.com. Says after 1 week of spring practices, here's what to know about where each of Alabama quarterbacks stand. Says new offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb praised Ty Simpson's start to the spring. Says he's really improving, Grubb said. One thing I like and appreciate about Ty already is that you can tell he's very serious about wanting to succeed, and he had the mindset that he has been ready. He's been waiting in the wings, so to speak. So I think that's really good, interesting information there as well. Ty Simpson, so far, so good for him. Secondly, you got Austin Mack, the transfer that came in, and says Grubb did speak highly of redshirt sophomore. Says he's got big upside, Grubb said of Mac. I think he done a really good job working on his technique and throwing motion and things like that. I can tell he's been working hard on it last year. He's a bright kid, and I know that he can process the offense. The newest addition to the quarterback room as well is Keelan Russell. He says he made his first appearance in Alabama's practice uniform last Monday. He says he looks good right now, DeBoer said of the youngster. Strong, he moves around well. He's just good all-around athlete. The weight program, certainly for any new guy, is going to be critical, and it's good to get that first phase under your belt. I think pretty good updates all across the board. Everybody's coming in. Max processing it. Ty Simpson's ready. He's been waiting in the wings. Keelan Russell looks like he's getting the first phase under his belt. So I think it's anybody's game at this point. I really like everybody, what they've done so far. Nick, I'm curious what your thoughts are on this update for the Crimson Tide. But before we get to you, Alabama fans, in the comment section below, let us know what you think of these three quarterbacks. Is there one that you lean towards wanting to be the starter? Do you think Keelan Russell being the 5-star comes in? Is this the guy? Is he going to take over? Does it just make too much sense? Or do you think one of these other guys, Austin Mack, Ty Simpson, do they have what it takes to maybe steal that away from Russell? Let us know what your thoughts are on the quarterback situation in Alabama in the comment section below. But nonetheless, Nick, what do you think about this latest out of the Crimson Tide?
So I think it's absolutely massive. I think we know who the starter is going to be. It's going to be Russell, and I can tell you why. So, well, I played college football, small time Division One AAFCS college football, nowhere near Alabama, but I was in a very similar kind of situation, kind of halfway through my career at the college level. I was an offensive lineman back then, and there was a young guy coming into the fold. An offensive guy was a great athlete, very raw, very physically gifted. Would go on to be a great football player. And I remember during spring ball and training camp, where I was ahead of him on the depth chart, but the coaches were every other day. It was more talking about, he looks great, he looks awesome. He just needs to work on, I forget what it was specifically, but it was like maybe work on his the mental assignments or get bigger in the weight room, whatever it was. It was something like that. It was something very fixable. And their compliments to me were very similar as to what you're seeing when you look at Mac or Ty Simpson, where the coaches were to me were like, hey, you've really improved your footwork, Nick. That looks a lot better. Or hey, you've got the right mentality. You understand the scheme. You're executing at a high level, which is good praise for me, right? Because I worked on my footwork. I'd spent time in the playbook. I'd gotten pretty good at the offense enough. I could go out there and do a lot of really good things. But I could tell, especially looking back, but certainly at the time, I could tell a little bit too, that they were really trying to push the young guy because they weren't so concerned about the things he was doing wrong. They were concerned about what they needed to do to him to make him a starter, to make him an elite player. You can see this with the comps right here. If you look at the story with Simpson, it's like, he's serious. He's got the right demeanor. Okay, is that all you need to be a quarterback? No, like there's obviously more to it. How about Mac? Oh, he's really worked on his technique, but it doesn't say, oh, he's now a master technician. He's now got the best arm talent they've ever seen. No, it doesn't say that. But when you look at Russell, it's like he looks great. He just needs to get a little bit bigger. That's code, right? That's coach speak for Russell is our guy. He just needs to put on a few more pounds so I can make him our guy. And that's what DeBoer is saying, and that's where the Crimson Tide are at, right? I've seen this in my own personal collegiate playing experience, and I've seen it from other players at other positions too. This is not uncommon. This happens all the time at all levels of college football. Probably happens at the National Football League at some level as well, where if you dive deep into what the coaches are saying in their evaluations, you can tell which way they're leaning, and sometimes in this case, which way they're heavily leaning. Everything with Russell is he looks great, just needs to spend some time in the weight room. That's code for he's about to be the starter if he can get his bench press up a little bit or put on 10 pounds of muscle or whatever the criteria is they're trying to grade him against. These other guys, hey, they look great. They look awesome. They're executing the offense. They're smart. They're savvy. They're improving enough to be a backup quarterback. That's what we're seeing from the Alabama Crimson Tide. I think at this point, based on what I'm hearing from Kalen DeBoer, it's early. I get it. I understand. All right. But from what I'm hearing and based on my own personal experience, what I've dealt with and what I've seen on the practice field, seen in the locker room, seen with coaching staffs, Russell will be the next quarterback of the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Yeah, Nick, I agree with you. I have a little bit different reason why I agree with you, but I think it's kind of like what we've seen when we talk about this all the time, especially early on in the cycle. We're only in spring. We haven't even really got into the thick of things yet. And, one comment to add, side note, Russell has put on a lot of weight. He's not quite there, but he's put on from the start of spring practice. He was 175, currently weighing 192. He's put on a good amount of weight, almost 20 pounds so far. So good for him in that aspect. But I agree with you. And it sounds to me like for Russell, what they're trying to do here is they don't want to say, oh, we're going to give him the job, or they don't want him to feel like, oh, the job's yours. You just got to keep it. They want him to keep work. They want him to keep bettering. And it's like that, you got to earn it. You're not going to just come in and take it. You have to earn it. And I think that's a really good way to keep his mentality right as well, because Russell coming in a highly talented 5-star, coming in doing, if someone just crowns you right away, gives you all of your flowers, tells you how great you're doing, it's easy to kind of lose sight, lose that drive, be like, I got this job in the bag, I've got it wrapped up. I don't even need to work on anything. I think this is the way, like you said, this coach speak, keep Russell engaged, keep him driving forward, to keep him wanting to improve, which I'm sure you could, but you just want to be able to guide guys in the right direction. But simultaneously, this is also keeping Mac around, keeping Simpson around, not allowing these guys, because the second portal window is going to open up. And one of these guys got to stay. You cannot lose both of these guys. You got to let somebody know, like, hey, we like you. We think you got a really good chance. Stick around to see if you can beat Keelan Russell out. When in all reality, you're not going to beat him out, but we do need a backup quarterback. We need someone who understands this offense. So I think that's what we're hearing out of these two guys as well. So I agree with you. I think Russell, they're trying to make him earn it, but I think they're also trying to entice these other guys by saying, hey, we think that you got a chance. In all reality, you probably don't, but we do need a backup quarterback who's capable and knows how to run this offense. So I think really great update on the quarterback situation for Alabama fans. I'd be very excited.
Yeah, and it's one of these things, and you brought it up there. I think it's a really good point too. Again, the commentary on Russell is directly actionable in his hands, right? Work out, work harder, get bigger, stick to your diet, right? That is a very key path to becoming a starter, right? Based on DeBoer's comments. If you look at Simpson, if you look at Mac, all it is just praise. And I'm reminded of the old salesman shtick where they sit there, and the advice they give young salesmen all the time is the quickest way to get someone off the phone with you is for them to say yes. They're like, hey, are you interested? Yes. Because then the sale's over and then the call can end and the deal doesn't finalize, right? A no gets you an option to solve a problem. If someone says, no, I'm not interested because of you're too expensive. Okay, well, maybe I can give you a discount. Or no, I'm not interested because of whatever, right? A no is the path to a sale. A yes, an early yes, is often not a sale because they're just trying to get off the phone, right? That's something that it sounds paradoxical, but it's really true. And anyone who's been in the sales business for any period of time for anything knows that's often the case 90% of the time, if not more. And that's what we're seeing here with this conversation about the quarterbacks. He's giving yes answers to Mac and to Simpson. Yeah, they're great. They're doing great. Great upside, great technique, great mentality, right? All this great stuff. It's a yes. It's it feels good, but there's no path forward, right? It stops right there. That's it. It's over. These praise here. That's where it ends. With Russell, it's the no answer. He's no, he's not the starter yet, but here's what he can do to be it, right? There's no conversation along that similar vein with Simpson or Mack. And that's so important when it comes to digesting what a coach's mindset is, right? Especially when a guy who's a big recruit, a superstar like this, right? Realistically, we all understood Russell was going to be the starting quarterback of the Crimson Tide sooner rather than later, right? Whether it was going to be day one or maybe the next year or whatever, he was going to be a starter sometime either this year or coming right out the gate next year. Everyone kind of expected that's the 99% chance of happening. But I think what we're seeing in this commentary right now, and I think you bring up a great point that Alabama coaching staff doesn't want to give it to him. They want to make sure he works for it, which of course is the right approach to take. But I think at this point right now, you can almost feel like they've already made their decision at quarterback, right? And whether they made it prematurely or not, or whether it's subject to change, we don't know. We're not in that locker room. We're not in that coaching staff. We're not in the meetings, right? Obviously. But so far, it's clear to me anyone who's played college football can understand it. You can see it. We've all seen this happen numerous times. The coaching staff has made their decision. This QB battle, it's not over, but it certainly looks like it's Russell's to lose.